If I had $100 left to my name and someone came with $100 in cards or $100 in bulk, I'm 100% buying the bulk. We had our first full house, which is all the tables were full. So we have 4 tables. We can seat about 16 people, 4 people at each table. I don't remember exactly which day it was. All that whole time was a blur, but one of the nights we had Commander Pod at each table. And it was a spontaneous thing where I was like, oh, we have a full house. That's awesome. We should give something away. So we gave a bunch of packs out to everybody who was sitting at the tables. We have filled the tables for the first time. So to celebrate, we're gonna give away some Brothers War packs. Follow me. All right, so check this out. This is the first time we had all 4 of our tables full. Okay, so I just want to thank you all for being here. And as a thank you, I'm going to give everyone a Brothers War pack. Whoops, that one's lightly placed. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for being here. Appreciate you all. So for Thanksgiving, me and my family usually go to Florida to visit my wife's family. And so every year we've done that. And then this year, it kind of like, I don't know, the store happened so quickly that I just really didn't even consider what to do about that Thanksgiving trip. And so what we decided was that I would go down to Florida with them. So we usually drive there. And so we would drive together to Florida, and then I would fly back here and run the store through Thanksgiving. So I figured, hey, since I'm going to be here for Thanksgiving, why not open the store up to people who either, wanted to get an escape from their family and then, play some Commander or hang out together. What's up? Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Thanksgiving. Ooh. Oh, that was a nice one. That's a nice shot. Okay, I'm going to just of the food here. I think it went really well. So we had 2 tables full of people. We had enough food for everybody, played some games, and I don't know, I felt like the connection was really strong that night. I'm pumped. This is exciting. Black Friday was different for me this year. Usually I'm used to doing Black Friday online. So one of the things is when you're online, you're just competing with every website ever. And so Black Friday has not really ever been a big deal for me. But when you're in a physical location, it's different because you're competing with only a number of other stores for attention. I feel like it's great for me because it does 2 things. It releases capital. So even though you're not making a bunch of money on some of that sealed product, you are getting your capital back, right? And say, okay, I'm going to try to get my investment back so I can reapply those funds somewhere else. The other things it does is it gives the customers an ability to get a deal on things. And so when the customers are happy, that's a good thing. If someone comes into your store and they say, man, I got a really good deal. Like, that is a good thing. Having that experience and, creating that experience for them is positive. So I think those 2 things are really important about Black Friday. Hey, if this is your first time and you're enjoying this series about me opening and running a local game store, make sure to get caught up on our previous episodes. Now, back to the show. I'm going to talk about bulk in the terms of singles. Okay, so singles are just the individual cards, and what bulk is a large quantity of the individual cards that typically people would classify as having no value. Okay, so when you're buying someone's collection, they say, oh yeah, I got a bunch of this other stuff that's draft chaff or stuff that, I've opened booster boxes, I've got all the good stuff out of it, and it's just the leftovers. I love to buy bulk because bulk, you're buying it at the lowest rate possible because it's the lowest common denominator. So the great thing about bulk is that it's always worth the bulk rate. Say there's a $100 card and you buy it for $70. Okay, it's a good buy rate, 70%. So you give someone $70 for it. But let's say they do a secret lair with that card in it for $40 secret lair, you can buy that. Well, now the card is worth $50, right? And you've lost at least $20 and then the fees and blah, 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 right? So the thing about bulk is that is never going to be less than bulk. It's always going to be worth bulk. That's why I love it, because you can buy it, you can forget about it. You don't need to follow the market or anything like that. You can buy it, forget about it, and then process it later and extract whatever value is in there and then resell it. Because again, it's always bulk. So it's always worth the bulk rate. There's a local guy, his name's Belfi, and he blew my mind because he was buying bulk rares. At the time, I was, pretty well known for buying and selling Magic cards, so I knew my stuff, right? And I said, I have a bunch of bulk rares if you want to buy them. I'm expecting him to say, oh, I don't want those because you picked them. Picking bulk is meaning you went through and took whatever's worth money out of it. But he's like, okay, sure, yeah, bring them over. And he bought them at like slightly above bulk rate. And I was like, this is weird. Like, why is he doing that? Like, to me, I was confused because Belfie's a smart guy. And I'm like, he knows what the bulk rate is. He's paying me a little bit more, and he knows that I picked it. I don't understand what's happening. So when I went to make the exchange with him, I said, hey, what are you going to do with all that, man? What's going on here? And he goes, oh, I'm not going to pick it now. He's like, I'm going to pick it in 6 months. And so it was like, oh, wow. So he buys it, he stores it for like 6 months, a year, and then goes back and sees what went up in price. And again, it's safe to do that because it's always bulk, right? It's just like he paid around the bulk rate. Now he's going to pick it and get a bunch of value out of it in 6 months and then sell it for the bulk rate. What I do with the bulk is when I get it, I stack it up until I have an opportunity to go through it. And then I go through it and we divide it into different categories. All right, I'm going to show you how the bulk is divided and talk about what you might be able to get for each section. So basically right here we have Planeswalkers. Every piece of bulk is different. So there's like bulk common uncommons, there's foil common uncommons that has a different rate, bulk rares have a different rate, bulk mythic rares, and I can, show you like the kind of the breakdown of each one. But basically what you want to do is take it and sort it into all of those things. And while you're sorting it, you want to take out of there anything that the store can use, anything that other stores can use, anything that's on buy list, just kind of extracting the value from that stuff. If it's not in a buy list, something the store can use, any of those areas, then it will just go in its category. Basic lands, common uncommons, foils, bulk rares, So it'll kind of just go down the funnel into the lowest common denominator. But first, you want to take out that value. Here we have mythic rares, so bulk mythics, stuff that, again, you might get 50 cents for a mythic rare, Everything it has some kind of worth. And sometimes people don't know, like things like basic lands, those have a value. They're actually worth more than just straight bulk. So if you keep the basic lands in your bulk and you sell your bulk at a bulk rate, then you lose a little bit of value on that because the basic lands can sometimes be sold for more. Basic lands are needed by local game stores to run drafts and needed by players to build decks. They're needed in these instant collections to have, something to use to build your decks. And then we got the foil basics. Those might come in at 20 cents to 25 cents a piece. One of the things is that in bulk is where you get the cards that are not necessarily in people's trade binders. So things that you might need, a little common, uncommon cards, especially with so much commander building going on. There's all these random, artifact sacrifice outlet or this card or that card, that are just weaved throughout these boxes of bulk. It's stuff that you want to take out so that you have it in stock for people who are building commander decks, but it's not stuff that necessarily people are going to bring into you. This is a box of actual bulk here. And the picking process is you just go through and you look for cards, like Mortar is like a common removal spell. You look for cards that people might play in a deck. The negative thing about bulk, labor intensive. It takes a lot of time to process it. It takes specialized knowledge to process it. And once you've processed it, you end up with a bunch of cards that need to be listed. And that takes time. And it takes just as much time to list like a quarter card, 25 cents or 29 cents, than it does to list a $50 card. The best thing about bulk picking is that if you overpick, it's okay because it can just be put back in the bulk pile, We would pick like that. And then what I like to do is after you're done picking, you just take it and turn it upside down in the box so that okay, I've gone through that. And you might spend, a little bit of time going through all this different stuff. I think I would probably buy bulk before anything else. If I had $100 left to my name and someone came with $100 in cards or $100 in bulk, I'm 100% buying the bulk. The safest thing is the bulk. And even if there's nothing in there, if I go through it and can't find a single card I can sell, I could still sell it and get my money back. Thank you for watching this episode. There will be more to come, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. More information about my business, Alchemist Refuge, is on the screen and in the description. I hope to see you next time. Bye!